Hey, what's going on, webheads? Roundaway here. And DBFZ is one of my favorite fighting games of all time. I've mentioned it many times on my channel before, but it truly is a phenomenon when it comes to fighting games in general. I think this game is basically loved by everybody, FGC or casual alike. If you're hardcore or you just play it for fun, most people that I know that have gotten into fighting games is because of Dragon Ball FighterZ. And it's the whole reason I even got into Dragon Ball as a series was from this game. What other fighting games do you know that have come back from the dead? This game was literally presumed to just be over with no more DLC in sight or anything. Sure, we got balance patches here and there, but most people have considered the game to just be over. And then randomly, they just announced that there's new DLC coming and a potential 4th season. That's insane. Most fighting games don't just come back to life like this. Let's take it back a little bit. Let's go back to before all this, before the multiple seasons, before Season 1 even, before even vanilla fighters. Back in 2015, Arc System Works made a Dragon Ball fighting game, traditional 2D fighting game that was only on the 3DS. It's sprite-based. That game being Dragon Ball Z Butōden for the 3DS. And yeah, this game is like super underrated. Like, I hear actually nobody talk about this game, but this game just fascinates me that Arc System Works made Dragon Ball FighterZ before they made Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now, this has happened a few times with fighting games. Like, for example, the company Aiding made Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, which is pretty similar in gameplay to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and that game predated it by a couple of years, just like with this game. It's always fascinating to see what developers' first visions are of a game compared to how they would end up, and that's basically what this is. This is the TVC to Dragon Ball FighterZ Marvel vs. Capcom. So yeah, despite this game being made by Arc System Works, there is a lot about it that sets it apart from DBFZ. Starting with the gameplay in this game is a 2D fighter with your traditional air dash or movement, meaning fast ground movement and the ability to air dash. The game follows suit in FighterZ of having a simpler control scheme, while FighterZ control scheme is more adjacent to actual fighting games, just on a more simple level. This game has a completely different control scheme, more fit to suit a 3DS, because I mean, the 3DS has a lot of really good fighting games on it, weirdly, but it's not exactly a system made for as many complicated button inputs that most fighting games require. The game has a unique control scheme. Y for light attacks and heavy attacks being X, with a key blast button similar to DBFZ, and it's unique per character. All these attacks can be done in the air. What sets it apart from most anime fighters is that instead of having the system of linking attacks from light to heavier attacks, this game's combos are similar to something like Tekken or Mortal Kombat, where there's predetermined attack strings per character instead of being able to just chain attacks together. These strings, however, for the most part are semi-universal with minor differences in between them. Some attacks allowing you to actually jump cancel after them or get different follow-ups, or even just behaving differently in general. However, every character's like strings are basically the same button input. Your light auto combo done by mashing light 5 times in a row. Trigger a cinematic final hit on the 5th hit that automatically makes your character run up towards where the opponent is, and this also causes a ground bounce and then allows you to do follow-ups after it. There's also, every character has a heavy attack, which is usually some form of like a 2-hitting attack that does more damage, but you don't really gain much off of it. However, some characters you actually do, like Super Saiyan Vegeta. This is like his main juggle tool. You can also charge up the 2nd hit to do another wall bounce. There's also a combo that's pretty short that's light, and heavy. Similar to the other combos, however, this one doesn't send them full screen. It keeps them towards you. It's really good in the corner for extending combos. This game also has Dragon Ball FighterZ Dragon Rush mechanic. However, it's slightly different here. While that's free in FighterZ, this costs 50 meter to do, and you can do it after combos for follow-ups. You just use it for movement in general, and it also starts combos. I don't know why it's 50 meter and in FighterZ it's not, but hey, I have like literally no clue. And I'm glad they changed it when they added it to FighterZ. There's also special moves in this game. There's no inputs in this game at all. Instead, what you do is for your level 1 super, you hit L plus heavy for your level 1, which does 25% of your meter. For level 2, which is like more of a traditional super move, is L and Ki Blast, aka A. There's even more supers, believe it or not. Now, these are done by doing auto combo and then finishing with X and A at the same time. Now, there's actually 2 different versions, or I guess I should say 3 different versions of this. A grounded version, which you do by doing the standard auto combo on the ground and in the air. Now, you're probably wondering, what do you mean in the air? Now, this game, if you press after your final hit of the auto combo heavy attack, you'll end up going flying in the air, sort of like how it is in DragonBallFighterZ after you hit a heavy attack and then you super dash after it. Only in the corner I found that you can actually like extend this a little bit and you could get a little bit of an air juggle from it, but mid-screen I don't think you could do it. However, you'll be floating above the stage. Now, this doesn't really do anything besides just look cool. If you do the same sequence again, you'll send them back down to the ground, but again, this only matters for supers because the sequence of doing your auto combo and then X and A when you have 150 meter or above will actually trigger like the real super, like a cinematic super. And yeah, the sprite work in this game is really good and it looks super sick, like each character is super, and they have a lot of them. Like weirdly, you would think that there wouldn't be that many, but there's a lot of supers in this game. Now, the last thing I want to mention about gameplay is the actual format of it. As you've been seeing in this gameplay, you can have 3 characters at once and you can actually tag in and out between them. However, there's also another way of playing the game. Now, this game is interesting. This game is similar to Sparking Zero when it comes to team building and customization. You have DP in this game, which stands for Dragon Power, and you have up to 35 DP points, which you use to assign characters. Each character has a certain amount, and the reason why this is the thing, because you can choose how many teammates you want, or you can opt to use Z Assist, which Z Assist are non-playable assist characters similar to MVC1 or MK1, where they're just cameo characters that appear and help you out, usually with like some form of attack, or they give you like buffs or anything like that. They're all actually there. They have like their own sprites and everything like that, and they go completely nuts with the Z Assist. Like, there's over 100 characters in this game and over half of them are Z Assist. Like, they'll put literally anybody, like even the most obscure characters, even characters that aren't even canon. Like, there's like Super Saiyan 4 Gohan and Broly and all types of weird characters in here. Although I personally prefer playing this game without assist and just having 3 characters, but that's just me. I like this idea. It kind of mixed like the Budokai games with the traditional fighting game elements that Arc System Works is known for. And yeah, this game surprisingly has a lot more mechanics than you would think, like on the offset. You wouldn't think a Dragon Ball fighting game for the 3DS of all things would have this much mechanical depth, but it actually does. Now, this game has a few more game modes in it than just fighting. There's training mode, which you've been seeing a lot of me doing and practicing the game. But originally this game didn't have training mode. It was only in a patch that they actually added it, which was weird. The other game modes are story mode, which is pretty much your standard story mode. You start off with Z Story, which is just a super, and I mean super abridged version of the Dragon Ball Z story. And it skips like a lot. You play through most of the Saiyan saga. You skip to Namek, then you're fighting Ginyu, then Frieza, then androids, then immediately to Gohan versus Perfect Cell, and then straight to Kid Buu. Yeah, like it just completely jumps, but it's a pretty decent, alright story mode. I mean, it's just Dragon Ball Z again, but it's told in like a visual novel format with fights here and there. Some fights giving you assist. After you beat that, you actually unlock a bunch of character stories which go over some of the fights that were skipped, and also unlocks a bunch of more modes. I have a local single player mode which you could just fight the CPU, as well as play online, but obviously that's probably not possible anymore. Survival mode. The main thing about this game that sets it apart is the adventure mode, which is the game's completely unique story mode that is pretty wild in all honesty. It's also mainly just a reason to explain why all these characters are here and fighting each other. Basically, Omega Shenron somehow somehow is alive, and he's using the Black Star Dragon Balls to revive all of Goku's villains and basically to fuck them up. And you have to basically stop them. That's all there really is to this mode. However, this is your main way of unlocking Z-assist characters. And also the map layout for some reason looks like New Super Mario Bros. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's just kind of goofy looking. Now, before we wrap this up, there are a few things I want to just talk about. One, the music in this game is really good. It feels like BlazBlue music, which, I mean, it makes sense because it's Arc System Works, but I honestly like this music more than Dragon Ball FighterZ OST. Like, Fighter's character themes are good, but the music overall is just kind of whatever. I know it's like supposed to be accurate to the show itself. I don't know why, the music in this game just slaps so hard. So the sprite work, again, is really good. I mean, it's Arc System Works, their sprite work's always been good, but the sprites in this game, especially because of how late this was, this is probably one of the last Arc System Works games to use sprite-based art, and it looks really good and is well animated. So lastly, there is one more thing about this game that's notable. Arc System Works at like around the same time made a similar game to this, but with One Piece. Like, it's basically the same type of game, except you're playing as the One Piece characters. Now, they actually patched this game to be compatible with Dragon Ball Z, so now you can actually fight, like, if one person has one game, you can fight them on the other. Now, I don't know how this actually works, because these are, like, different sprites and all that, but yeah, you can fight each other in this game as Dragon Ball characters and One Piece characters, though I'm not sure if it's like you can only play One Piece characters if you have the game. I'm assuming whichever version of the game you have is who you're playing as, but there's got to be some version of this game, or someone's got to come up with a mod to play with both characters, because I feel like that'd be cool. I'm not really into One Piece, but the fact that a One Piece versus Dragon Ball Z fighting game just exists and is by Arc System Works is insane. I'm honestly surprised that they didn't make a One Piece fighting game after Dragon Ball FighterZ. Hey, we got Marvel Token, baby! Yeah, that's basically gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you think of this game, and I'm so surprised I never heard of it sooner, but yeah, that's basically gonna be it, and see ya.